report that Brandon Aiyuk had requested a trade, and then his agent said that the sources weren't good, and then, okay, fine. But then Devontae Smith signed for like $25 million a year, which probably really ruined the 49ers Monday morning. What do you think?
A lot. There's a lot there, man. Honestly, I can't wait until the draft for multiple reasons, right? There'll be a lot more to talk about in regards to the draft picks, and there'll be less Brandon Aiyuk talk. There'll still be talk because he's probably going to hold out, and they probably won't sign him until July or August. So we'll still be talking about that, but at least we know he'll be with the 49ers. And it sounds like from people I've talked to that the 49ers don't plan on trading Brandon Aiyuk. It's a possibility. Anything's possible. I really don't care what the agent says. There's a reason that Brandon Aiyuk unfollowed the 49ers on social media, right? So they could say he didn't request a trade, and he maybe he didn't, but he unfollowed the 49ers on social media. He's obviously not happy with what's going on. So is it out of the realm that he wants to be traded, whether he made an official request or not? No, I don't think it is. I think really, though, what Brandon Aiyuk wants is just to get paid. And I think this Devontae Smith kind of sets the bar for Brandon Aiyuk. 3 years, $75 million, $51 million guaranteed. I think that means Brandon Ayuk's probably going to get closer to like 3 years, $80 million, 26.6 per year, $55 million guaranteed. That's kind of my guess. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about all of this?
Well, I'm not good at projecting what he's going to get, but I do think it's kind of interesting just sort of like comparing the two scenarios, Devontae Smith and Brandon Aiyuk. Like Devontae Smith wasn't even in the same draft as Aiyuk. He was drafted a year later, 2021, and he just got an extension. So Smart. The Eagles didn't mess around. They're like, oh, you're eligible for an extension. Let's give you that right now. We're not going to wait until 4th year, 5th year, July, training camp, like sweat it. Like, no, we like you. Let's just get this over with before Aiyuk gets paid and Jamar Chase gets paid. And I think that's really clever and smart. Not even clever, like sensible. Commonsensical.
Yeah.
And the Niners are over here playing games, and I don't know what they're going to get out of it. He's just going to get more expensive and more expensive, and I doubt they saw this coming.
Yeah, man, it makes sense. Do it early. I've been saying it for 2 years about Brandon Aiyuk. If you know he's that guy, and you know he's that guy, like anyone can tell that he's that guy. He's the kind of player you want. He's a DeForest Buckner, who, by the way, just got a 2-year extension, $26 million per. And the Colts said he's the idea of what you want from a Colt. Niners should have kept him, but I'll digress on that later. When you know you got a guy that you want to keep long-term, and the 49ers obviously should have known that with Brandon Aiyuk, they should have took care of it earlier. And even now, like, right, we're in this situation where they can do it now, but they're going to wait until July, August. And who else is going to set the bar? Is Lamb going to set the bar higher? And it just never made sense to me why the 49ers approach it this way. It still doesn't. I still haven't got a really good explanation as to why they do it this way.
Okay, I agree. I don't really understand. Maybe they think it helps them. I want to rephrase the Aiyuk discussion for a minute, because when we talk about it, it's like, well, why are the 49ers dragging their feet? What is the hesitancy here? Shouldn't they be eager to get this done? What if it's not about them? What if it's about Aiyuk? What if Aiyuk just isn't eager to sign with this team? What if Aiyuk didn't want to get drafted to this team? What if Aiyuk is still harboring grudges and resentments from being in the quote-unquote doghouse for half a season when he was in his second year? I mean, that cost him money. They affected his reputation and the way they looked at him. And he had to really fight back by being the best blocking tight end. Wide receiver. Like, he had to do all the little things really well to dispel that perception. But it was there, and the Niners created it. Last year, he said, I'm the 4th option on a run-first team. Like, woe is me. Yeah. Does he want to be on this run-first team? He was drafted 3 spots after Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson has like 200 more targets in his career than Brandon Aiyuk. They play about the same amount of games. Yeah. Is Justin Jefferson that much better than Brandon Aiyuk? I mean, I don't think Aiyuk thinks so. I think he feels that if he were on an offense and got that type of a commitment from the quarterback and the play caller, that he could put up Justin Jefferson-esque numbers and get Justin Jefferson-esque money. So there could be a whole lot of reasons why Aiyuk is the one being like, you know what? I don't want to play for this coach. I don't want to play in the system. I don't want to be in the city. I want to go. Now, he doesn't have leverage, but that could be his feeling. That he could be the one really dragging his feet.
It's possible. I don't think it is. What I think it is the 49ers always lowball dudes from the get, right? They don't get serious about your contract until later on. So They probably send them. Everything I've heard, everything I've read, it sounds like the Niners are like 23 million-ish.
Sure.
Right? And Aiyuk wants more to
like below Debo.
below Debo. And Aiyuk
Yeah.
wants closer to 27, 28. And you saw what just happened with Devontae. So Ayuk's probably more accurate with what he deserves than the Niners are. So I really think it's just about money. I think Brandon Aiyuk would come back here, no problem, if you paid him the right way. If the Niners went up to him this last month and said, hey, we'll give you 3 years, 27 million, guarantee 55, Brandon Aiyuk's probably signed already, and we're not even talking about this. But I don't think the Niners operate that way. They lowball him.
That's true.
Niners,
I mean, like if they're gonna do this as like a long drawn out negotiation where Aiyuk wants 27 and they're gonna offer 23 and ultimately meet at 25. I mean, damn, the Eagles and Devontae Smith just got $25 million a year done right now.
Right.
And I don't think many people would say that Devontae Smith is better.
Nobody would say that. Who would say that?
No one.
Eagles
he doesn't
fans,
have
maybe.
the talent. He doesn't have the resume. I mean, he was a top 10 pick, but I think the freaking Eagles would take Brandon Aiyuk over Devontae Smith. So if the Eagles were eager to pay Devontae Smith $25 million a year after 3 years, what are the 49ers? What is their reservation? It seems like they should be offering 25 right now, maybe more. And if that still doesn't persuade Brandon Aiyuk, then maybe you should trade him. Like at a certain point, maybe Brandon Aiyuk is asking for too much money and doesn't want to be here. But I don't know if that's the case.
But the thing about it is it's not even really going to hurt the 49ers salary cap for 2 years. So you could sign Brandon Aiyuk and keep him for 2 more years. He'll still probably be in his prime and turn him and trade him at that time if they wanted to. But the longer they wait,
with Tyreek Hill, they extended him and then traded him around 28, 29. They did that. Yeah.
That's what they should do. So like worrying about the numbers right now is kind of stupid when it's like $1 million or 2, 3 million. Who cares? Because in 3 years, that's going to be a bargain when they actually go to trade him. I just think it doesn't make a lot of sense. I still don't understand it. I would love somebody to explain why they approach things. I don't know if they've been asked that before. You're in the press room all the time. Are they ever asked, why do you guys wait? Because now, right, the starting point, the negotiation point could have been 23 million. But now it's 25 million. That should be the starting point because that's what Devontae Smith got. And I don't think anyone could say Devontae Smith is better than Brandon Aiyuk. So now that's the floor and everything just elevates. I just don't get it. They got to have some kind of reason, some kind of explanation. Maybe it's because they want to see what happens throughout the draft. I don't know what their explanation is, but I would love to understand it because
it's a good question.
It doesn't.
It's a good question. They should talk about it because it seems like maybe at different positions, their strategy might work. If you have if you're negotiating with a linebacker like Fred Warner, the linebacker market isn't crazy.
Right.
It's not going to get reset every month with these crazy monopoly money contracts. Wide receivers are a whole lot different. Like these wide receivers are getting paid crazy, stupid, crazy money. Yeah. And the longer you wait, it seems like the more the market inflates.
Right.
You could even say it's a bubble, but it like these guys are getting paid maybe more than than they could ever justify. Right. So if you want to be in market, if you want to do these negotiations, then it seems like your options are to do what that Philly did, get it done, or trade the guy. Dragging it out doesn't necessarily help you. I think it helps Brandon.
Mm-hmm. And if you're an NFL team possibly considering trading for Brandon Aiyuk, I mean, you got to be thinking kind of what the Niners should be thinking at some price point, right? Where it's smarter just to draft a guy on a rookie contract than it would be to pay 27 million for Brandon Aiyuk. So I don't even know if there's going to be a trade partner that's tempting enough for the 49ers to move off of BA. I think it's inevitable that BA is going to stay with this team. So let's just get it done already. I just don't understand it, man. It doesn't make
it's just interesting because with Kittle, they could sort of lean on him. He's a tight end. Tight ends don't get paid a ton of money. Yeah. Debo kind of screwed himself by calling himself a wide back. I feel like the Niners kind of used that against him. Yeah. But Aiyuk, he's just a wide receiver. He put up the most efficient season in the league last year. And you look at guys who are clearly not as good as him, getting paid presumably more than what the Niners are offering Aiyuk. It's it kind of looks like it's like from Ayuk's perspective and his agent, like, look, if you want an elite wide receiver, this is what it costs.
Right.
You have to decide, do you want an elite wide receiver or not? Right. And you got to make that decision right now because Aiyuk isn't cutting you any breaks. He remembers the things that Kyle Shanahan said to him when he was in the doghouse. No breaks.
The house is on the line. You gotta bet the house. What happens with Brandon Aiyuk, man? Is he traded or no?
Yeah, I think he's traded.
You do. Yeah,
I
I would
do.
say I would say no. I think he stays. I think he stays because
I'm not
again, I
excited
think
about betting the house,
yeah,
Bob.
it's a little dangerous.
A little
Yeah,
dangerous.
yeah, but I mean, I think he stays, man. I think because of the reasons we said, like if they extend Brandon Aiyuk, this year becomes cheaper. Next year becomes cheaper, and then after that, they start paying for it. They could trade him after next year, and I think they probably, if you're looking at the situation long term, they're not going to have Debo in 3 years. They're not. So they have to have one of these guys, you would imagine, unless they're planning on resetting with both of them. I think they look at Brandon Aiyuk as this guy could be the future for our team. Let's get him in contract. I think they're just BSing with this negotiation stuff. And I think he ends up signing like Debo, Bosa, all those guys did towards the end of the,
If Aiyuk just doesn't want to be here and isn't willing to budge, how many guys do the Niners keep on their team like that? I mean, Debo said he didn't want to be here, but he budged. And he talked, and he always said, like, Kyle's like, okay, yeah, I'm friends with Debo. I'll work this out. I don't think it's going to work like that with Brandon Aiyuk. So I think what could happen is the Niners could be taking calls. They could have an idea of what the 3 or 4 best offers out there would be. They're probably not going to get a top 15 pick for Aiyuk the way they did for Buckner. So maybe they'll let the draft play out, see who's available, and then when those picks are available, see if the wide receivers they want are there, and then maybe they can make the trade at that point. But it doesn't seem like to make a lot of sense to do it now.
So you think 10 days left with Brandon Aiyuk officially on the 49ers?
I'm trying to give away this Brandon Aiyuk signed jersey right now because I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see, man. I think he sticks around, man. That's my bet, my guess, but we'll see.
All right.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. Well, I hope you're right. Ray Valencia says, love you guys. That's it.
Thank you, buddy.
Love you too, buddy. Matt says, unfollowing social is standard operating procedure. Seems like the kind of way to request a trade without requesting a trade.
Matt's name is killing me.
I know. I just went with the first name there. Brother Bob
Yeah.
said Daps, Iggy, and Ryan OG have a $50 million wide receiver room. Eagles have a $50 million wide receiver room, and they don't want to pass the ball, which is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
They might want to work on that.